we as listeners, we as a society owe Joshua an apology. I think the song is very sad, recognizing that you're not going to get closure from a situation when people think that you're in the wrong. You would never dare to waste a crisis. Tell us what the secret is, Joshua. You don't even know what your songs won't sound the same. The truth you can't. No death threats. Like, do you not have anything else to do with your life? Like,
goes a little something like.
Hi guys, welcome to my review lifestyle and academia channel. My name is Agape, like the love. If you're new here, then hi, welcome. This is a safe space. But if you're not, welcome back to my channel. I do want to say this is so weird, but I want to say that if you're new, my wall is usually not this like plain. I usually have a whole bunch of albums that are scattered all across my wall. I'll insert a picture of how it looks usually, but it's nearing towards the Christmas break, so I'm going home for Christmas, so we have to clear up our rooms basically, and so that's why it is plain. But as you guys can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be doing a deep dive at the lyrics of Joshua Bassett's brand new songs on his little mini EP that he released with 3 songs. Further ado, let's get into the video. But before we get into the video, if you want to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what your favorite Joshua Bassett song is. Mine is Only a Matter of Time. Like, that song, I think it was like 15th in my like most played songs of the year. Like, it was there. An eye for an eye, you get blind. When did you stop being kind? Twisted your words like a knife, and I'm sure that you're hurting inside. No, anyways, let's get into the video. How I want this to go is I'm going to be pausing and I'm going to try insert some of the lyrics that I want us to focus on, and then we can talk about it, discuss, obviously share your thoughts. Maybe I looked at something weirdly or differently, or not how you would have wanted to tackle that. And yeah, so that's how it's gonna go. This is the first time I'm doing a video like this where it's primarily very much focused on lyrics and not too much on hearing how it sounds sonically. But yeah, we're gonna try it. If it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, well, then we tried, right? This is me trying. So let's go. The first song is called Crisis.
My label said to never waste a crisis, and here I am, guitar in my hand, in the middle of one.
I feel like I want to cry just listening to the song. However, okay, so it says my label said to never waste a crisis. Obviously we know that, like, in the entertainment industry and stuff like that, when things happen, you're supposed to be very like on it. When, like, if there's backlash from here, you need to get in the studio, you need to release a song, you need to do that. And in this situation, it would be how Olivia released Driver's License about the blonde girl, then Sabrina went and then she released Skin, right, to counter that, right? And I was surprised that Joshua didn't, because Joshua Bassett released an EP, a self-titled EP called Joshua Bassett, but none of the songs were tied to the situation. You could hear that these were songs that were going to come out regardless. Like, these were songs that didn't reflect what had just happened. So the fact that he didn't release this music sooner, I was very surprised, because as like a PR move, that would have been the best thing to do. Like, wait a month after Driver's License, then these songs that we hear would be the songs that would come out to almost answer, because of all the backlash that he was getting. Like, I'd be like, do something now.
If you get to tell your truth, and so do I.
I'm gonna stop and analyze all of the lyrics, and if you get to tell your truth, then so do I. I was having a conversation with one of my friends, hi Caitlin, I know you're watching, and we were discussing how in this situation there's not, people say there's 3 truths, like your story, their story, and the truth, right? But in this situation there's 4, and I think people were mad that Joshua Bassett was like speaking out, but it's like, no, everybody gets to share how they felt in an experience, and we should be welcome to that. Like everyone gets to say how this made them feel. So people that were very negative towards Sabrina after she released Skin, like people were there was a really bad reception around it. They were like, oh, how can you do this, you're 21, she's 18. But it's like, no, the repercussions were still damaging towards me, so obviously I'm going to get to say what I want to. And I think people were just being really unfair in that in that situation where they weren't even letting them say what they needed to say.
Half the shit you say is only half true.
Oh,
Messing with my life is a career move.
Pause. Half the things you say is only off. Listen to Sour, like it's weird though, like when I listen to Sour, my afterthoughts are very different, but I think that's obviously when we listen to music, it's very subjective about like this person's experience, but we were painted a picture about the situation and what had happened, and now Joshua was like, well, that's not really what happened, so where do we go from here? And the thing about the messing with my life as a career move, it's so iffy, because I saw in some of Olivia's interviews, she said that after Driver's License came out, the week of Driver's License came out, they went back into the studio and recorded and wrote and everything for Sour to come out. So it's like they saw the reception of what was happening with the success of the song, and obviously the success of Driver's License was due to a multitude of reasons, and I actually made a video breaking down like it's obviously the triangle and the drama behind it and everything, and the Taylor Swift impact and stuff that had a lot to do with it, but the reason why it was so big was because people were able to connect who the song was about, and the drama behind it, and TikTok making TikToks and all of that stuff, right? That was why the song was fueled. And so after that, Olivia went into the studio, created more songs, and this isn't even me making this stuff up. This was literally her in interviews that she said that like after Driver's License she wrote to finish the rest of the album. Whether the songs were half written before or after, but like she went into the studio to finish the album, right? So I get what Joshua's saying. Like I actually do get what he's saying.
You won't make it end. Yes, you would never dare to waste a crisis.
Why you won't make it end. And the thing is, I don't think Joshua is necessarily talking about the album coming out, because obviously the album is gonna come out, but like Olivia didn't take any accountability. But you have to take a little bit of accountability for your fans, and I know people don't like that because it's like your fans are going to do whatever your fans do. But if you give your fans a direction, being like, guys, if you're fans of me, don't put out negative energy towards this person. But the thing is, she didn't do that because it served the purpose of the album. Do you see what I mean? So it's like he's saying like, I'm begging you, like if you really loved me, you would have, regardless of what has happened between me and you, like if this was really real, you wouldn't have just sat back to see all the negative hate that was coming towards my way. Like you wouldn't have just sat back, and that was like, guess you would never dare to waste a crisis, because she was able to use it and turn it around with amazing song lyrics and amazing videos and stuff like this. And now Olivia is 7-time Grammy nominated, and so it's such a weird situation. But it's so bitter and tricky, because obviously you can't control your fans. But if you give your fans, if you let them know that like, guys, we're not for this, then that's a different situation. But if you keep quiet and say nothing, because obviously it's going to benefit you in terms of like a story being told, right? If you say nothing, then the peoples are going to be affected.
My mama called 'cause she heard I got the threats. Supposed to do?
First of all, if you send somebody that you don't know death threats, like do you not have anything else to do with your life? Like, that line still gives me chills. Like, it makes me want to cry, because it's like, we don't know these people. I feel like you can be fans of someone, but you don't know these, like, you don't know. Like, even for me, like, I will never go on Instagram to type a negative comment on someone, even if that person, like, because you don't know them, you genuinely don't know them. And it's like, nobody questioned whether, and the thing is, it's not even about the authenticity of Sour and what Olivia was trying to say. It's just that, like, you don't know these people, so why would you feel comfortable to send death threats? And that's the bottom line, is that, like, Sabrina and Joshua, they were both receiving such visceral hate. I could see the death threats that were coming. If you go into Sabrina Carpenter's Instagram, you would see every time she would post a picture, Olivia's fans, the Livies, were commenting very nasty stuff. Like, girl, she's posting a picture in a nice top. You say, oh, you're the blonde girl. Like, do you not have a job? Right? Do you not actually have, are you not employed? Like, is there nothing else that you're doing with your lives? Right? And so the fact that it was not only affecting him but affecting his family, and the fact, like, you know, your mom is worried about you and your mom is calling you being like, what's happening? Like, that's so messed up. And the fact that he's basically saying that you're not gonna make this end, you can see what's happening, but you're sitting back, and you see, that is so uncomfortable, and that's such a deep level, like, it's something very wrong. Oh, and I was gonna say, when there comes death threats, people are going to be allowed to say their piece. That's why when Skin came out, I was like, oh, Sabrina, say what you need to say, because you were receiving death threats. Like, this is beyond. And the thing is, people tried comparing the situation, like Olivia and Joshua's situation, with Taylor and, like, Jake, or Taylor and John. Again, why would you send people death threats? And number two, why would you compare relationship? Like, it's weird. It's weird, because I think a lot of the Taylor and Jake thing and the Taylor and John thing had to do with the age difference, and how this was like someone who manipulated and this. But also, we don't have any, how do I say this? Parasocial relationships are killing my people. We don't know these people. Like, we don't know them. So the fact that fans or people would stoop that level low to send death threats is just beyond me. Like, I'm genuinely flawed, because why would you do that? You see, the song's gonna make me cry. I feel like you can feel the pain that he's, like, you can feel the anxiousness, and you can feel it all. And I thought that was a very interesting line about how you sensationalize, keep fanning the flame for headlines. And you can say that is the way in the I don't know if Olivia could have helped that, because that was just going to be the way that the music goes. I think my main criticism was about saying nothing, and maybe to Joshua, the way she sensationalized. I don't know how it could maybe be in the Deja Vu video, or it could be in the Good For You video, or it could be in the music, but, like, the music is going to be the music regardless. I think it's more to do with, like, the response. That's the big thing, like, the response, and maybe her interviews. But I'm trying to think back to anything that she said in her interviews particularly that stood out to me, and right now I can't think of anything. But if you do, type it in. I'm okay after all you put me through. Chills, you guys. Like, I actually have chills. Like, the song is so, like, the song is very sad, because it's not like I feel like I've been lied to, but it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels so painful. It's a career move. I can't help but wonder why you won't make it. Just you would never do. Once you're the one who left in the first place, once you're the one who called things off. Oh, yeah, no. You see, that's when things get very tricky for me. That's when things get so, like, who's telling the truth here? Because when we listen to Sawa as a body of work, and especially when we listen to Driver's License, we don't get the impression of Olivia was the one to break things off. We don't. And it's true, you guys know, like, we don't get that impression of her being the one to call it quits, of her being the one to be like, I'm out of this relationship. So when we get that from Joshua, it's almost like, how are you gonna play us all? Because we thought you were the one who dipped, and we thought Joshua was the one who started having a fling thing with Sabrina, when maybe that could have just been like, yes, you have feelings for someone else, but she broke off, and now you're gonna move on, like as one would. So it's just very weird to me, like, you know, like, that's why I'm like, what is even happening in this world? Because I feel like I've been lied to. I feel like we've been sold something very different to what the truth is, and that's why it's like, what? No.
Was it an act to love me or an act to hate me?
Which one was it? No. But I also think this is very interesting, but I also think that, like, I'm surprised. You know the lyric in Favorite Crime? All the things I did just so I could call you mine. Oh, I wish I was your oh, I hope I was your favorite crime. And then we get the end part when it's like, cause baby you were mine, cause darling, or cause baby you were mine. That part, right? To me, it was always a signifier that, like, they both did wrong. And I don't know why the public, even though people love Favorite Crime, I don't know why when people heard that song, they weren't like, wait a second, it just flipped over its tables. There was no one innocent person. And you know what, I think I'll find the clip when I reacted to Sour, and I think I might insert this in from when I reacted to the album, because in my mind it was always weird that it was the narrative was very much on, like, this person, this was the bad guy. Because if you hear that line in Sour, it's very sneaky in it, because it's like, cause darling you are mine, you are my favorite crime. So they were both like, it was bad on both sides. No, she can't tell us that at the end, cause baby you are mine. No. But I think because of the whole album, you don't really hear that. You only hear it towards the end, so no one's gonna take this message and go,
You were never there to waste a crisis.
Allows between Crisis and Skin show how drastic, like, they both had to be like, no, something's wrong. So with Skin, Sabrina's like, oh, let me actually go play that little clip.
If maybe then we could pretend there's no gravity in the words we write. Maybe you didn't mean it.
Okay, maybe then we can pretend there's no gravity in the words we write, right? Like, it's recognizing that you can say something, but once you put it out there, people are going to take it and shift it and make whatever they want to, right? And that's, people are going to do that. But for you to not have accountability for what your fans specifically say, and not even saying something out there, that's when it gets really weird. So it's like, and also another,
But you been telling your side, so I'll be telling mine.
so you've been telling your side, so I'll be telling mine. And then when we have Joshua's lyric about Joshua's lyric with the, so if you get to tell your truth, so do I. It was very much, both of the songs are like parallels of each other, saying that, like, no, that's not the truth, that's not the whole truth, and you need the whole truth in order to form an opinion. But you know what sucks is that because these songs are coming up at such a later point, it's like the public have already decided, the public have already written in the narrative. Because this Driver's License came out in Jan, the album came out in May, like, the narratives have already been written, the Grammys have already been nominated, like, the story is set. And so that's the very unfortunate part, because now you can hear that Joshua was going through a lot of stuff, like being in therapy and all of that stuff. And he mentioned that in his GQ interview, where, like, he was just crying and he went away and he just spent the time crying, and, like, he was going through therapy because of the stuff that was happening, and how he mentioned in an interview where he went to a restaurant and the waiter at the restaurant was playing Sour specifically because he was there, and they playing the whole album through specifically for that. And it's like, I don't know, it's just very weird now. I was gonna say it has a sour taste in my mouth, no, but it's just a bit weird. Okay, the next song is called Secrets. I hope this one isn't too long, as in my reaction to it.
Holding to your driveway again. We kissed, but it felt different.
Driveway, driver's license, lol, haha. Wait.
That you only had a crush. You told me that you could have seen it coming then.
You see, what do I do now? Huh? What do I do now? Because now you can see that he's alluding that she was trading. And I thought, and you're probably with the blonde girl and traitor. You see, this is almost like it was the opposite way around. I don't get it. Because now traitor, Olivia's like, you didn't cheat but you were still a traitor, almost like you allowed yourself to like someone while dating me. But then he's saying she did the exact same thing. So I'm like, but he's saying you were, no. Oh, no. You see what I mean, guys? It feels like a story we've been told. Now it's like, go back. That wasn't the truth. It just feels so weird.
All your secrets safe with me, and all of the friends you told. Oh, you don't even know.
I know. No, because genuinely, I need Joshua to tell us the secret. Like, forget the secret safe. I need him to tell us, because now he's alluding that like she cheated on him. But then do you see how messed up and how sour as an album sounds now? Because sour just sounds like Olivia was being very delusional and she was lying up and down on the album. Maybe she's more like Taylor than we know, in the terms of like, maybe it wasn't autobiographical but we just took it as it being autobiographical. But like, I don't know, man. Do you see what I mean? It just sounds very weird, very very iffy. Sorry, this sounds like a bop as well. Like, I'm sorry, this sounds like a bop, let's not lie. Was 16 months, people. I know someone was doing the math and they were doing the timeline that it makes sense to be about everything that was happening, but I also feel fooled. I don't know what's happening now. We don't know what the truth is, because no, guys. Tell us what the secret is, Joshua. Why don't you tell us what the secret is? I want to know. But you see, without him saying too much that says what it says, it's almost like the deep irony of everything would be that like, you created an album about me being this unfaithful, but not like alluding to me being this person that liked someone else this whole time, meanwhile you did even worse. Do you see how that shakes things up? Like, it shakes things up to a next level. Oh my days.
Oh, you don't even know why me stops working. I bet your songs won't sound the same. The truth you can't do.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually hear that line. When the woe is me stops working, I bet your songs won't sound the same. The truth you can't deny changed everything. Oh, you can't hide what's clear to say. It's so hectic, no, because he's saying that like, when you don't act like the victim, how will, like, what you sold to us, you were acting like the victim, you know? So now, like, that's what I'm saying. When I hear sour, it sounds so weird to me, because I'm like, that's not how things really went down. Or is it? You don't know. But he's saying that like, in order for that album to work, for that sound to be what it was, she needed to be the victim. That's why it's like that's why she couldn't check up on him and be like, tell her friends or tell her fans, no, don't send him this, because it needed to be like the underdog, the younger girl, oh my days. No, something fishy is happening. But that was such a persuasive bridge. Oh my gosh. The next song is called Set Me Free.
I'd take it all back if I could.
We love some remorse. We do. This song is a bit different. Set Me Free is a bit different because Joshua has said that like set me free could be, Joshua wants us to relate to this song as oh, I should say trigger warning, sexual assault. Joshua has wanted us to relate to the song as an anthem for him, but also for survivors of sexual assault, that this being a song almost to let go, and to, so that lyric is when you know that behind the lyric and says, I don't know what I did to deserve this, I don't want to be rude or defensive, but I've been going through it. It could be the relationship thing that happened, but also he's very adamant that this is what he wants the song to mean for other people and what it meant to him. So I think like listening to it with that in mind, it changes the whole perspective of what you think the song to be. Yeah, no, so that lyric, it hits different when it's not like petty dramas. This is like real life stuff. And Joshua said that he's been a victim of sexual assault numerous times when he was younger, by someone older, an older man. That he said this in his GQ interview. And so it's that declaration of freedom, of you being able to take ownership of your own body, of you being able to reclaim yourself and say like, I want ownership, this is me, this is my life, you don't get to take anything further than you have from me. Yeah, no, it hits differently.
Tell my mom I'm okay, while I'm holding back tears. It's been a fucking year.
You see, so with that lyric we can see that it could be like two things can be true. It can be about both situations, and you can find a way to put them both and wrap them up in a song, because music isn't pretty, and it's not very linear, and it's like the song is about this thing, because to different people it's going to mean something different. So obviously he's referencing this year and the time that he's had and the mental turmoil, but then also just like the mental turmoil of what he's been going through his whole life. And yeah, it was interesting how like he wanted what he knew when he wrote the song what it was going to be about, but like you can always take different things from the music. And so about how like he's telling his mom that he's okay, right, but his mom called him to be like, I know you're not okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna cry, but yeah,
I've never felt so weak, and nothing really seemed to happen.
again, he's been going through therapy, he's been going through it, taking some time off. But no, when it feels like the whole world is against you, I can understand you not wanting to feel like, how are you gonna move forward, you know, when you feel like everybody is your op. Like, no.
I won't ever let you hurt me how you hurt me.
And I'm gonna stop there because we go into the chorus again. But I feel like it's almost like having an exhale. It's recognizing that you're not going to get closure from a situation when people think that you're in the wrong. Whoa, I just dropped some bars there. But like, how can you get closure when people are against you? Just about getting closure, but I think of that lyric in You Let Me Down by Olivia, and she says, I'll call you on your birthday with some words I wanted to say, with some small talk, and I'll tear up, then I'll hang up before I can say I love you but you let me down. It reminds me of this because it's recognizing that, like, with an exhale, recognizing that, like, you know what, I'm actually gonna let go of the situation, and this is where I'm gonna stop, because it's already taken so much of my energy and my time and my mental health and my happiness, and now I stop because there's no more going back and forth, and I'm interested to see if that is what he does. Obviously a relationship is always going to impact you regardless, but like I'm interested to see if that's how it goes from now on. And I'm glad that Joshua released an EP to let us know, like, guys, this is how I was feeling, and like I'm gonna give you guys these emotions and these feelings, and like, now it's done. Because at some point you have to let it go, because it was attached to so much detriment and so much hurt that now you have to take a step back and be like, what? Okay guys, so thank you for watching. I also now that I think about when I'm listening to the songs and I'm hearing myself speak, and I'm like, who am I team? I'm team nobody. I'm team release good music, and also be free to express your emotions. Everybody needs to be free to express how they felt in a situation. And yeah, I think it's also about like how we as listeners, we as a society owe Joshua an apology. I think that to be true, like in the depths of me. But like, because I feel like we were sold something that might not be the most authentic, but then also it's like, why were you believing all of this? You need to just enjoy music for enjoying. But we like to put our own, like, we like to put our own thoughts and feelings into what we hear, so we like to project, and that's how I think Josh also got a lot of this visceral hate, because people saw their situations in Olivia and what they'd gone through, and maybe that might have been 5 times worse or 10 times worse, and then they put that on him. And so I'm not actually team anybody. I listened to Joshua, I listened to Sabrina, I listened to Olivia. All 3 of them ended up being on my top Spotify Wrapped, you know. All 3 of them in the top 20 in terms of songs and stuff. But Deja Vu was my #1 song, because that's my favorite song ever. But yeah, no one's in the right. At the end of the day, they're all entertainers, but they're all human beings. And because of the industry, how the industry goes, you're always gonna capitalize on someone else's. Actually, no, maybe I should phrase that differently. You're going to capitalize off of something, right? Whether it be your pain, whether it be someone else's pain, whether it be someone else's pain, like, you're going to capitalize off something in the music industry. And this was just a question of, should you sit back whilst the person you write about is going through it? That is the real question, and that's the question that I want to leave you guys with. And maybe think about that, and what would you have done had you been either 3 of them? Would you have released Skin? Would you have released the album? Would you have released the EP? What would you have done, and when would you have done this? I like to think that, like, if I was on Joshua's PR team, I would have told him, like, just how he said in Crisis, I would have been like, bruv, go into the studio, release these songs a month after Sour. However, I was speaking to my friend, and she said that, like, do you think the public would have wanted to hear that, knowing that we had just gotten that album so recently? Like, I think anything that he would have done would have been the wrong move, because so much was against him. But like, I'm glad that again he took his mental health first and focused on that, going to therapy, getting the help that you need, and then coming back and giving us music. I really enjoyed all 3 singles. Crisis, Set Me Free, and Secrets. But when I listen to Crisis, I literally get chills and I want to cry. So I don't know if I'm going to listen to it a lot. It's literally like Crisis, because I will. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, my background is usually not this plain, but in today's video it actually serves a really good purpose, because I'll be able to put the lyrics here. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.